Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. We've got you guys an update on a massive multi-day severe weather outbreak that is currently underway across the north central United States. We have a lot to go over in this video with a very intense night of severe weather that we are entering tonight, and then into tomorrow. We're talking about a severe weather outbreak that is on the table for the Midwest. I apologize about my voice. I've gotten sick for the past few days. Still can't get over this cough that I have. But also I want to apologize for not uploading in a long time. We've been dealing with big time severe weather events, and I've just been so busy. May is always the busy month for me. So this is nothing new to me. This is nothing strange. I mean, I've always gone through this just time where it's just absolutely insane. So I just want to let you guys know in advance that my schedule will be very busy still going forward into June. Once I get off of school, that's when everything's going to be a breeze. That's when you can expect really frequent updates. But just stay with me for these next 2 weeks, and I bet you guys, I promise you, I will get more updates in for you guys. But anyways, let's start out by looking at your current radar. You can see we have a lot of storms that are currently charging their way across the northern half of the country. And the biggest thing to make mention of here, the thing that we should really talk about the most. Let me change my color here 1 second so you can see. We'll do blue. Alright, it's everything up here. Alright, this is where our big severe weather event is going on. You can see we have a lot of convection that's going on out there. You can see in Nebraska, we're seeing storms really start to pop off, and we actually did have a destructive severe thunderstorm in Colorado that was producing apple-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and I believe we saw funnel cloud out of that storm, very close to dropping a tornado. It might even still be trying to do that at the time of recording this video. Alright, but every one of these storms is entering an environment that is pretty good, pretty decent for some very large hail, damage wind gusts, and an isolated tornado or two. Okay, so this event is still ongoing. We still have an enhanced risk today for severe weather. Okay, that's basically the main line of storms. We also do have a little surface low, okay, that's kind of just pushing its way across northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. This has been provoking severe thunderstorm warnings all day, and you can even see some prefrontal supercells that have also been severe warned out here. So we're also talking about a little regional Great Lakes severe weather event that we've got going on today. So it's really the northern half of the country's time to shine for today and also tomorrow. And I guess I shouldn't say time to shine because this severe weather is going to be dangerous, pretty nasty. So we really gotta dive deep into the breakdown and the forecast. All right, so let's move on here to our alerts. You can see that pretty much in the northern United States, you can see in this pink shade we have our severe thunderstorm watches. Okay, that's going out for this one. There's multiple. Let me make my color black. All right, so the first one is out here into southwestern Michigan. All right, that's in the pink shade. That's for those storms that we were talking about with that bow segment you can see on radar. Then we have this big one going all the way down from southern Minnesota down through western Iowa into southeastern Nebraska. Okay, this is for that main line of storms that we're talking about right now that's producing the destructive severe thunderstorms. Okay, a lot of these are still severe warnings, still seeing tornado warnings. In fact, we have a tornado watch in the yellow shade. That's in Colorado here, in northeastern Colorado. That's where the tornado watch. That's where a few tornadoes are likely. All right, and we still have that one that's still trying to produce a tornado at the time of this video. All right, and then we also do have one or two counties that in Texas here that are under that are under heat advisories. Okay, it is May and we're already talking about heat advisories. We are getting well over 100 degrees, and guys, it's May. It's not supposed to be 100 degrees. Parts of the country are still should still be trying to warm up, getting to that spring and summer regular heating. Okay, but the fact that we're already consistently over 100 degrees in May is just absolutely ridiculous. But that's what we've got in the orange shade down there into southwestern Texas. You can see we have red flag warnings going out for portions of western New Mexico. This also does include portions of eastern Arizona. So very dry conditions out there, very windy conditions because we do have a shortwave trough that's ejecting across that area. So that's going to increase that fire danger. You can also see we have some wind advisories marked in the tan shade. Look at this. we still are hanging on to winter storm warnings. It is almost June. I mean, this is absolutely insane. We're talking about severe weather in the north. Okay, it's not anything that's crazy. Okay, but we do have severe weather in the north. Then we also do have, we do have heat advisories in Texas. But then we also have winter storm warnings in the mountainous regions of the United States. I mean, it's just crazy how different these weather conditions are. But that's in the pink shade. That's where you have the winter storm warnings. All right, you can see in the teal shade you have that's a severe weather statement, but it's also, you can see in this case it's a freeze watch. I'll circle the area. But this is where you're seeing the freeze watch, and in the pink, the winter storm warning. All right, in the purple shade, you have winter weather advisories. In the blue shade, you have winter storm watches. All right, you also do have some flood watches going out for southern Nebraska, portions of central Iowa, going all the way up through pretty much the entire eastern half of Minnesota. It's basically just for those areas that have been that have been hit hard by severe weather today, and just getting multiple rounds of storms. So that's why we have that flood watch, just because there's been a lot of heavy rain and we haven't really gotten a big enough break in the rain. All right. So let's take a look at the SBC. We'll start it with today. This is what we've got as far as tonight goes. All right, you can see we have an enhanced risk. This is level 3 out of 5 risk in the orange shade. Okay, that's going out for pretty much southern Nebraska. You got a tiny chunk of northwestern Kansas included in that. You also do have the northeastern corner of Colorado. That's marked in the orange shade. This is a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. So, we've seen enhanced risks really overperform. I don't think this one's going to be overperforming in particular, but this is still definitely a very dangerous setup for severe weather that we have for some of these regions. So we're going to definitely be talking about power outages, but we're talking about big time hail that could really cause some serious damage, and we could still see tornadoes and still see storms that are really going to cause a danger for people out there. So you really just got to make sure that you are aware of the situation that we're going to be entering tonight. All right, in the yellow shade, you have that slight risk that's a little bit more broad. Okay, that's for the areas that are most likely going to see strong to severe storms. That's how I would put it. All right, that's level 2 out of 5 risk. In the green shade, that's the marginal risk. That is a level 1 out of 5 risk, where you're talking about, just regular thunderstorms, but some of them could be on the stronger side, and one or two strong to severe storms could not be ruled out. And in fact, now we only have the level 1 out of 5 risk, but we're still getting severe thunderstorm warnings out into Michigan. I'm telling you guys, Michigan's still getting that bow segment that's still producing strong winds. All right, so definitely be on the lookout for some severe warning storms out there if you are in the marginal risk. All right, so going back here to now our tornado threat, okay, and I believe we just got upgraded to a 10% hatch tornado threat. So it's pretty interesting how we go from a 5%. We had a 5%. This is what we had going into this evening, and the SPC just updated, and they've actually increased the potential for tornadoes to a 10% risk, but also a significant 10% risk. That means that all these storms we saw back in Colorado and also going into Nebraska, they're entering a region that the SPC has a little bit more confidence in to be favorable for tornadoes. And so this is very concerning to see. That's just north of Goodland, Kansas. Okay, very rural kind of area. Okay, but that is definitely interesting to see, and you very rarely will you see the SBC upgrade getting into the later hours of the event. But that's what we're dealing with today, just because of the timing of this event. All right, and we're getting warm enough that we don't have to rely on the daytime heating for it to be warm enough for severe weather. We're still into the 60s and 70s, just at about now in some of these areas. All right, so this is definitely still a prime time environment for tornadoes. We're talking about strong tornadoes, a significant chance for tornadoes in the yellow shade. All right, in the brown shade, you have a 5% risk for seeing a tornado within 25 miles of a given location. And in the green shade, you have a 2% chance. All right, so let's take a look at your damage wind gust outlook. This is a high-end risk as well. All right, you have a hatch risk. This is a 30 to 45% chance of seeing a wind gust 60 miles per hour or higher in the red shade. Okay, that is a pretty high end risk. That's that's basically So far, what we've looked at is we're talking about a high-end enhanced risk of severe weather. So that's pretty intense. But yeah, there is a very high chance that you will see some damage wind gusts, especially if you are in the 30 to 45% chance area. All right, and then this little hatch circled area, this is where there's a significant chance for severe for damage wind gusts outlined by the SPC. Okay, in the yellow shade, you have a 15% chance for seeing damage and wind gusts. And in the brown shade, you have, what is that? I think that's a 5%. That is a 5 to 14% chance. All right, so we're going to go back and take a look at your damaging large hail outlook. And here we go. We have another high-end outlook. All right, so this is definitely a high-end enhanced risk, meaning that if any one of these threat levels got upgraded, we would get to a moderate risk. And I'm not saying we will get to a moderate risk. In fact, we almost definitely won't. But I'm just saying that this is very, very intense. And not only is enhanced risk just intense by itself, let alone just that it's a level 3 to 5 risk, but also this is a high end enhanced risk. So just to point that out, all right? But you have a 30 to 44% chance of seeing damaging large hail within 25 miles of a given location in the red shade. That's including portions of northeastern Colorado, southwestern Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas. All right, we've been talking about this region a lot today. We've been seeing these destructive severe thunderstorms. It looks like the SPC is going to stick with that confidence that these storms will continue to produce tornadoes, large hail, and damage wind gusts. But we're talking about up to softball size hail. We've already been talking about large apple size hailstorms, and just massive baseball size hailstones. I mean, it's just crazy how large the hail is going to be, but that's going to be pretty widespread. You can see we also do have a hatched risk in the circled area. You have a 15% chance for seeing damaging large hail in the yellow shade, and in the brown shade, you have a 5% chance. All right. So we're done with tonight. What's going to be happening tomorrow? Well, tomorrow it's going to be even stronger. This thing is going to rebound like crazy. Look at this. You have a moderate risk of severe weather in your face. This is a level 4 to 5 risk. Okay, this is when we're talking about a very high chance that we're going to get a severe weather outbreak. Okay, this is including portions of southeastern Iowa. This also does include northwestern Illinois. That's in the red shade. That's level 4 to 5 moderate risk for severe weather. Okay, they're very rare. I shouldn't say very rare, but they're definitely not common. They're very uncommon, the moderate risks, but we've been just off to an incredible start of severe weather just in 2024 in general. So this isn't the only one we've seen. In fact, we've seen multiple, at this point, most likely over 3 moderate risks of severe weather just, in general this year. This is going to be another one of those days that we have them, all right? We've seen them, we've seen them put on days that have really just scarred this country. All right, we've seen tornadoes, long track, violent, deadly tornado outbreaks within these moderate risks. So it's just very important that everyone gets this potentially life-saving information out, and that everybody can just be aware of this. All right. But in the orange shade, that's where you have the enhanced risk. That's very broad. That's going out for pretty much everyone, in the circled area, but mainly for southern Wisconsin, all the way down through pretty much north central Missouri. That's in the orange shade. Anybody in that shade, you have a level 3 to 5 risk for seeing severe weather. That's an enhanced risk. All right. In the yellow shade, that's a slight risk. That is a level 2 out of 5 risk. And then the marginal risk, that's in the green shade. That's a level 1 out of 5 risk. All right. So thankfully, the tornado threat so far, we're at a 10% hatch, which means this is not a high-end moderate risk. But we're going to have to look at what the OZ models say tonight. We're going to have to look at what the overnight model runs are talking about. We're going to have to see what trends we're talking about. So far, this has been sitting at a 10% hatched for the past few days. We're going to see tomorrow if this gets upgraded. I think it has a chance. It really depends on model guidance. It's been struggling. We're, teetering between a more aggressive forecast towards a little bit more of a calmer kind of setup. All right, but so far we have a 10% hash tornado threat, still a very significant threat for tornadoes, including northern Missouri. That does include eastern Iowa. That includes northwestern Illinois and portions of southwestern Wisconsin. Okay. once again, this could definitely get upgraded. This is hatched, so this is a significant chance for seeing tornadoes. In the brown shade, you have a 5% risk for seeing tornadoes within 25 miles of a point, and in the green shade, you have a 2% risk. All right, we go over to your damage wind gust outlook. This is when things get very serious with a 45% chance. So it looks like we're probably gonna get something like a QLCS, a Boeing segment. This could even become a derecho. Okay, we've seen some of these in the past. We actually saw one, I believe yesterday, I think it was the night before. I'm not sure. I can't even remember. All right, but just recently, in the past day, okay, we've been talking about a derecho, and we've been talking about wind gusts that have gotten over 100 miles per hour, which is just incredible. And it's just how strong these storms are that they can. It's just incredible just to think that one thunderstorm alone can produce a wind gust over 100 miles per hour. But that's what we're seeing, and it looks like we could have that kind of setup tomorrow with that 45% chance in the pink shade. All right, in the red shade, you have a 30 to 45% chance of seeing damage wind gusts within 25 miles of a point. This is hatched, so that means that this is a significant chance. In the yellow shade, you got a 15% chance. In the brown shade, you got a 5% chance. All right. So going over to finally that large hail outlook. This is going to be a high-end day I do for hail. I think this will definitely get upgraded to a 45% chance. I would be shocked actually if this didn't. All right, because I think that just this whole stretch of severe weather has really been it's really been focused on hail and damage and wind gusts, but still there's still that high chance for seeing tornadoes. But anyways, you have the 30% chance in the red shade. That also does include a hatched area a little bit off to the west. All right, in the yellow shade, you're in a 15%. In the brown shade, you are in a 5% chance of seeing damage and large hail within 25 miles of a given location. All right. So for the next few days, we do have a very broad slight risk for day 3. Okay, enhanced risk could pop up somewhere inside of there. We'll have to look at that for further information and details, but we'll see where that goes. Day 4 through 8. All right, we start out with day 4. We do have another slight risk. Okay, so this is already a level 2 out of 5 risk on day 4. So this could also end up including a enhanced risk. We'll just have to see what happens going forward. But I think really we just got to focus on tonight and tomorrow, just to be sure that everyone's staying safe and weather aware. All right. So we'll talk about the breakdown now. We go into the NAM 3 cam model. We're looking at the 18Z. All right, you can see that we have a very busy day of severe weather. You can see, this messy setup. This is 10 p.m. today. All right, and you can see we have some pretty discrete supercells that have been, producing the large hail, damage wind gusts, and tornadoes. That's all across Nebraska and northeastern Colorado. That's pretty much where you're talking about the highest threat for severe weather. Keep in mind, other areas, you can see this bow segment in Michigan's still going proud and strong. Very loud out there, and you can see that these storms do appear to be dropping some relatively large hail and damage wind gusts. Therefore, they could be severe. And we do have a few pop-up storms racing across portions of central Minnesota this evening, so you could see some lightning, some thunder, maybe even some gusty winds. So just be aware of that. But that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about getting through the rest of tonight. What about tomorrow? Okay, well tomorrow, boom, 4 a.m. We're already getting our second round of storms. That forms pretty much with this, with the low pressure that's actually driving the storms in Colorado right now. And it looks like this storm will kind of just the whole system will evolve itself by 5 a.m. We're gonna be already our outbreak is gonna be already underway. Throughout the very early morning hours of tomorrow, you can see we have a widespread, just whole area here that's getting battered by discrete supercells. You can see these little bubbly looking storms, all right, especially out here into Iowa. That's where you're talking about tornadoes and large hail. Okay, and it really looks like the morning, just very early, these storms are just going to really start popping off, and we're going to see initiation very early in the morning this morning, talking about 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. That's where we're going to see initiation. So, even into, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., the late morning hours, we're already going to be dealing with this big time severe weather outbreak. Okay, but you could see we're talking about very large hail as the system progresses and matures. getting to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you could see we already do have a Boeing segment, a big line of storms that's moving their way across southern Iowa. This will be producing some very strong wind gusts, and I do think we could see some destructive severe thunderstorm warnings warned for 80, maybe even 90 miles per hour, just with a very high threat for seeing damaging wind gusts. And I do think that we could definitely see some destructive winds with that. And then this generates another event, or another round of severe weather. Still on the same day. We're still only at 2 p.m., and this generates a whole nother round. And then this one looks more of like a tornado and hail threat as well. Okay, you can see we have not, I wouldn't say discrete storms, but definitely some supercells moving with that low pressure center. Okay, I would definitely watch out for that. But here they go. They become a little bit more discrete. This is when that tornado threat is slowly just going to climb higher and higher. It's really late afternoon into the early evening hours, just before dinner time. You're really going to start to see the severe threat, just as far as tornado and hail threats go. That's going to really start to get higher as we get into the late afternoon and evening hours of tomorrow. And then this thing kind of just continues to move off. But still, okay, any one of these supercells will definitely have that shot to produce the chance to produce tornadoes. As you can see, I mean, they're all supercells, all right? And a lot of them are discrete, okay? So there's going to be a very high chance that we're going to see tornadoes even outside of the high risk areas. I'm almost certain that we're going to see at least a few tornadoes even outside of the enhanced risk, okay? So this is definitely going to be a very dangerous day for not only people that are under the gun for severe weather in the highest threat, but also for areas that are a little bit more on the outside, all right? So let's go over to the full breakdown of this. We're going to talk about CAPE now. Okay, this is our convection allowing potential energy. Okay, we talk about CAPE just to look at, how much thunderstorm juice is what I like to call it. That's, basically just looking at how much energy these storms have to fire across the region. Just looking at a model for that. All right. 9 p.m. today. This is what we've got. We've already got CAPE levels in well into the 3,000s. All right, you can see this little tan shade. This is where we're getting 4,000 plus joules per kilograms. That is considered off the charts. 5,000 is unheard of, but we're in that ballpark. All right, and you can see, I mean, even in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas aren't seeing severe weather. I mean, it just shows you that we're very close to our area that is under the gun for severe weather. We're talking about dangerously high CAPE levels there. And if these CAPE levels get to 4,000 joules per kilograms in our enhanced risk, in our moderate risk areas, okay, that's when threat levels can really start to increase. Okay, but you can see CAPE levels start to die down tonight, and then let's get to tomorrow, and boom, look at that nasty dry line though forming just to the west of these storms. Really, just I mean, this is lined up perfectly with this low pressure center. This is a textbook setup for severe weather. This is a classic spring into summer severe weather setup. But we're talking about CAPE levels getting to about 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilograms. Some spotty areas getting to 4,000 joules per kilograms. Okay, so far what I'm seeing with thermodynamics is that this storm is not going to have any problem as far as thunderstorm juice goes, and just energy for these storms to continue to grow and produce tornadoes, damaged wind gusts, and large hail. All right. So we're done with CAPE. We look at the significant tornado parameter on the HRRR. This is basically just going to show us where the models are. In this case, the HRRR is predicting the higher chance for seeing tornadoes. All right, and so we take this out into tomorrow, and we already get maxed out up here into northeastern Iowa, but we're already getting over a 10. All right, that's about 11.4. Wow. Okay, so we're almost getting to a 12 here on the significant tornado parameter, so we're already off the scale. Okay, so that's a very high-end, maxed out significant tornado parameter. This is definitely showing an extremely dangerous setup for folks out there in the central Iowa into eastern Iowa. All right, and so this continues, and we see where else we see the higher threat for tornadoes, and we still get on the on the high end scale, we're getting to 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's still definitely a very dangerous setup. Okay, but so far with the OZH Triple R showing, the only thing that's really concerning me is just pretty much central and eastern Iowa. Other than that, I'm not seeing that high of a tornado threat. Therefore, if this trend continues, we'll probably stay at a 10% tornado threat, which will be very good news for people out there, just meaning that we're not going to have that, extremely dangerous setup rather than just a dangerous setup for tornadoes, if you get what I'm saying there. All right, and so finally we look at the vertically integrated liquid. This basically just shows us where we're talking about storms that will be dumping some very large hail. You can see already right off the bat, we're talking about big time, hailstones that could be falling out there in Iowa. Anybody that is under an area that's seeing these just bright colors, that's basically just where you're going to see the higher chance of seeing large hail based off of the model run. And then that main line comes through, sweeping down, and you can see into northern Missouri. Look at that. That's 33 kilograms per meter. I'm not very familiar with the math, but anyways, if you get what I'm saying, this basically just shows us where the supercells are most likely going to be producing that large hail, and then this thing kind of moves off to the east and wraps up. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. See you guys in the next video. So stay safe out there. I'll continue to post updates as much as I can. Maybe on the community tab, I'll do that thing where I post a little graphic on the forecast models update. I'll probably do. I think I might do one of those tomorrow morning. All right. We'll see if I have time, but look out for one. In the the mid morning hours of tomorrow. All right. I'll probably end up posting one. Sorry about that. All right. I also apologize about not uploading lately. Once again, I have a very busy schedule going right now, but I'll be trying my best to get more frequent updates in for you guys in the next couple of days. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys I'll see you guys in the next video.